The truth is not always nice, but it's necessary. I want to begin tonight's episode by sharing a story with you guys from earlier today. So there's this place, I won't name the franchise, I won't name the establishment, but this particular place has, in my opinion, the best fries of any place I've been to that is a non-prime steakhouse, okay? You can get some nice fries at a prime steakhouse. But for me, pretty much any place that I go to get fries, they have to be cut in-house. I don't do frozen fries. They're not my thing. I want fresh potatoes, and I want them cooked in peanut oil. Now, if I'm making anything fried at home, and I know some of you are like, you shouldn't be eating fried food. Okay, whatever. That's for you, okay? I'm going to eat some fried food when I want some fried food, okay? But when I'm frying at home, I use grapeseed oil. So, but if it's out commercial, it's got to be peanut oil for me. I don't want that canola. I don't want anything soybean, none of that other stuff. So this particular establishment, they make their fries, they cook them in peanut oil, and they cut them there on premises, and so they're ready to go, whatever. Well, on this particular day, I got my mind set. I want to grab a tuna sandwich, and I got a taste for some fries today. So I go to this establishment, and lo and behold, the individual in there that is food prepping is wearing a tank top. Now, again, I'm not going to name the franchise because that's not necessary. That, I have to tell you, is a one-off. I've been to this place over the years. I've eaten at this place a number of occasions. I've never seen this. So this was a first for me. But I'm like, did she just lean over the grill with her whole armpit out and there's food on the grill and she's reaching back there to grab something from the shelf behind the grill? And is she like, okay, yeah, she's wearing gloves, but she's got on a tank top. Like she's not even in the shirt that they wear at this particular establishment. So my first instinct is to say something, and then I'm like, I don't want to cause a scene. My people that normally cook in here are not there today. I don't have to eat here today. Forget it. I'll leave. And so I leave. And besides, the type of sandwich I wanted, they didn't have at that place anyway. So I was like, you know what? I'll just go to this other shop that I like to get food from. And the staff there, then nobody's wearing a tank top. And on my way driving there, I thought to myself, I said, Matt, you know what? Things are presented to us in our lives sometimes as opportunities to do something for the good of everybody, not just yourself. And I was like, okay, yeah, leaving and not getting anything was the right thing for me. But how many other people have been served by this person not wearing a tank top? I mean, not wearing a shirt, wearing a tank top, no sleeves, whole armpit out. And then I started thinking, Matt, you have a lot of third house placements in your birth chart, which means that you came here to use your voice. You came here to use your voice. Perhaps in other lifetimes, there were opportunities for you to speak up and you perhaps shied away from it. So you got all this third house energy in your chart. You can't just let that ride. So after I got my food at this other place, I got in the car and I was like, you know what, man, this could be a health issue. Let me call the health department. And then I'm like, the health department, nobody's answering. And I'm like, okay, I just can't let that just go because nobody's answering at the health department. They're like, leave a message, which means this person will be long gone before anybody from the health department shows up. And I'm like, okay, this is a one-off as well. Maybe I'll just go back here and talk to the manager. And I'm going to get my fries, by the way. And, better if she's not there, then I'm good because then I don't have to say anything, right? Because I still you don't want to cause a scene. You know what I mean? So you try to be as diplomatic, or at least I do. I try to be as diplomatic as possible. I want to be fair. I want to be righteous, but also have to speak truth, okay? So I go back in there, and here she is. She's still there. So I place my order. Give me a small fry to go. And, I pay my money, whatever. And the person wearing the tank top, and I'm talking like the whole armpit was out, y'all. It was strap. It was a strap, like, ladies tank top strap, and then you're almost like a camisole, but it was a tank top. Y'all know what I'm talking about, ladies. And she proceeds to put her gloves on and head over to where the food is. So excuse me. I don't mean any harm, but can I get somebody that has sleeves, somebody that's wearing sleeves to cook my food for me? And she cuts this look at me, and she just, no problem. So then she goes, and the other girl, she puts her gloves on, goes over to She comes back to me and tells me that, she wasn't supposed to be there today, and that she came in to help because somebody called out. What that mean to me? I don't want no armpit hair or no sweat in my food. Like, I didn't say that to her, but I just nodded. Like, I mean, I can't empathize with you, because if I'm called in, I'm gonna be in uniform when I get there. I'm gonna be in uniform, and I don't know who the manager was, but I'm scanning the spot, and everybody's way younger than me. So I'm like, you know what? There's probably no manager. Let me see if I can just correct this behavior just by, speaking, which is what I did. And I looked around, and about 2 minutes later, she's leaving. So, long and short of it was, I got my fries. They had no armpit juice in them. And this person, without me even asking, I didn't, I thought of 100 different things I could say. Like, I was like, I could say, you really shouldn't be back there with no, but I was like, what is the cleanest way I could let her know that she's out of uniform for food prep without causing a scene? And so I said, quietly, there wasn't anybody in line behind me. So I was like, excuse me, can I get somebody else to? And she got the message. She went home. I guess she told them, hey, you know what? I'm going home. And she cut her eye at me when she was walking out the door. But I'm like, come on, you ought to know better. So, moral of the story is, I feel like I did the right thing. I don't know how long she had been there prior to me arriving the first time. I don't know how long she would have been there had I not come in. I don't know how many other people would have been served. But I can tell you, without knowing for a fact, because I don't work in food safety, that there is something fundamentally wrong with doing food prep with your armpits out, especially when you're reaching for stuff. You know what I mean? So, the truth is not always nice, but it's necessary. Now, coming up on today's edition of Maddie's Rap, I'm going to go in on another truth that is not nice, but is necessary. And it involves the church, all right? The church. And by the way, I'm not planning on using any adult-themed language, but if it should come out, y'all see the shirt, all right? Non-conformist, Romans 12:2. Be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So whatever comes out is going to come out. The world says you shouldn't use that type of language if you're talking about church or the Bible. I might, because I don't conform to the world, right? The world says do it. If it's righteous, I'm down. You don't even have to tell me to do it. If it don't suit me and it's not necessarily what I see as righteous, and what I'm doing ain't harming nobody, look for me to go the opposite route. I'm just saying. I'll be right back, y'all. You're watching Maddie's Rap with author Matt D. Talford. Hello and welcome back to another edition of Maddie's Rap with author Matt D. Talford. I hope that you all enjoyed the story that I shared in the introduction. It was a true story, and as I said there, the truth is not always nice, but it's necessary. The truth is not always nice, but it's necessary. Now, I want to begin by thanking those of you who are my returning subscribers, the Maddie's Rap Tribe, the Soul Tribe. Listen, y'all are the reason why I do this. Thank y'all so much. Y'all's energy keeps me going. It really does, y'all, because it is extremely difficult bringing the truth in a world that has been conditioned to either believe a lie or look the other way because calling out the lie is unpopular. It's difficult to bring the light of truth in a world where people have been taught to be afraid. Be afraid of what? Be afraid of things that are not truth. All right? And so with that, I would like to share with you a dream that I had last night / wee hours of the morning, however you want to look at it. In this dream, a friend of mine, very good friend of mine, who is a tarot reader. Yes, they are a tarot reader. She is a tarot reader. I'll say she. She's a tarot reader. In this dream, there was this public event. Y'all know how they do these festivals or whatever, and they have different vendors that do different things and different people sharing their services or whatever. Like you might have someone, a local massage therapist might have a chair there doing chair massages, 15-minute chair massages, whatever, to try to build up clientele, whatever. So this particular friend of mine is there doing brief tarot readings. And for those of you who are not familiar with tarot, it is a spiritual practice that involves a deck of 78 different cards that map to various different energies of life. And when I say map to various different energies of life, I'm talking the 4 elements that we are all made up of in some degree or another: water, earth, fire, and air. All of us are made up of those. All of the planets are, all of the planets embody one or more of those elements, okay? And the stars above, the constellations, are constellations that represent those energies also. Energies of water, earth, fire, and air. As above, so below, right? Okay. Now, so those 78 cards consist of 22 major arcana, what are called major arcana, and in some definition, these are the spiritual cards. These are the ones that are spiritual, and then the others, the minor arcana, 56 of them, are pretty much like practical. They're practical. Those are your earth, water, air, and fire, whatever. But the way this thing works is these people with certain abilities are able to pray, because that is exactly what they do. They pray for whomever it is that asks for a reading for whatever they're going through in their life, and they pray for divine wisdom and guidance in receiving those messages and interpreting them. Now that might rub some of you Christian / religious folks / ultra Western religion folks the wrong way, but it is what it is, all right? Now the truth is not always nice, but it's necessary. So, in any rate, to get back to the dream, she's there doing free card readings just for people to come up, and this pastor confronts her. He stands before her and says, "Sister, if you don't stop doing this devil's work, if you don't stop doing this, the devil's work, you're going to hell." And I looked at my friend. My friend, she was shocked. She was shocked at the gall of this pastor that looked like he went to the buffet a few times too many, looked like that button on his jacket was struggling to not pop, all right? The gall of this pastor to walk up to her and tell her that. She looked shocked. She looked like she was trying to move her lips to find the words to respond. And she looked like she was going to cry all at the same time. So, y'all know Matt. I don't like bullies. I never have from the time I was a child. My bully alarm went off. And I walked over to that pastor. And I said, "Pastor, if this woman right here is doomed to hell for using her God-given spiritual abilities to help people in ways that decades of your ministry has not been able to, if she's going to hell for that, for helping people turn their lives around, helping people get real breakthroughs by understanding, then you send me there with her so she'll have somebody to keep her company. You send me to hell with her so she won't be there by herself. Now guess who looked shocked? This pastor looked shocked. He looked at me like, bruh, you don't know what you're asking for. But he realized he was talking to a real one, and he turned around and walked away. And that was pretty much, she thanked me, gave me a hug, was crying at what I said. And that was the end of the dream. Now, why am I sharing this with y'all? I'm sharing this with y'all because the truth is not always nice, but it's necessary. The truth is, there are a whole lot of church folk who stand in judgment of others that engage in things that are, if you want to know the truth, since we're talking about truth, the same things that they preach about on Sunday. And I'm not talking about preaching about in a bad way. Daniel, the prophet Daniel. Daniel was a seer. Yes, he was a seer. He just was a seer of light. He had a connection to the highest light, the Most High God himself. Daniel was favored by God. So when Daniel needed information from the higher realms, he could go right to the source, the spirit of truth, as I like to call him, the source, God. Some of y'all call by his name. Some of y'all call him the Most High. Some people in the spiritual community say the divine. Some people say source. Some people say the creator. Some people say the universe. All of those are proper. They are all proper. Daniel had the ability to go directly to source to get information about people that he knew nothing about. But because Daniel was chosen of the Most High and was elect and has his accounts written in the Bible, it's cool for Daniel. But anybody else that has the same gifts, y'all answer this for me. Was Daniel the only one that had that gift? Do those gifts not abound today? Who's writing the accounts today? Who are you to tell somebody that they are not chosen in the same way? In Daniel chapter 2, Daniel, for his own life and for the life of all of the other seers in the kingdom, had to get an answer from the ethereal realms, aka heaven, aka the Akashic Records Library. He had to get information that he did not have to give to the king. The king said, tell me what I dreamed and tell me what the interpretation of it was, or heads are going to roll. Daniel prayed. He invoked the Spirit of the Most High and asked to see what the king dreamed. If somebody today tells you they did the same thing, but it's not presented in a religious form, then you're going to call them a devil. You're going to accuse them of divination. Yeah, that's in the scripture. Yeah, that word's in the scripture. But we also know that the Bible, the translations of it, have weakened the original meanings. Tell me it hasn't. All right? I'm going to read a passage of scripture for y'all, because y'all know what I do. I come with the word. The word is truth. And for those of y'all that know, I'm coming with the Ace of Swords. Hold that. Hold that for me. I'm coming with the Ace of Swords. All right? I'm going to my handy dandy KJVA app, which you can get in the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store, so that I can read this passage of scripture from the Apocrypha, okay? We're going to the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as the Wisdom of Sirach. All right? I'm going to skip down. I'm not going to read all of this. I'm going to skip down. This is the prologue. But I want you to understand this. For the same things uttered, and I'll have it on the screen for you here. For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them. And not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language. Let me go back on that, because I'm going to give y'all what I believe to be a proper translation. And before you open your mouth and say, you can't rewrite the Bible, the scripture, pay attention to what was just said, all right? It says, for the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue. Is English Hebrew? Thank you, okay? For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them. Force meaning what? Power. We could also translate that and say, has not the same meaning. The same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same intent in them. And not only these things, but the law, the instruction. Y'all know how I feel about that word law. I think that was a bad translation too. It's an instruction. Y'all know how I feel about the word commandments. They weren't commandments, they were instructions. A commandment is done. When God commands, it's done. So if he commanded, thou shalt not kill, nobody would ever get killed. Because when he commanded, let there be light, you got daylight, don't you? Okay. All right. So these are instructions. And yes, I'm translating it. And if y'all want to go and cite the last verse in the book of Revelation, do what you will. Do what you must. I don't operate or live my life in that low vibration of fear. I know who God is. I know who God is. So y'all do y'all, all right? And not only these things, but the instruction, it says law here, but the instruction itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language. A law cannot be broken. Universal law, whatsoever man sows, that will he also reap. That's universal law. That cannot be broken. A law cannot be broken. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. That is a law. It cannot be broken. It happens every time. Objects in motion remain in motion unless acted upon by an outside force. And objects at rest remain at rest unless acted upon by an outside force. That's a law. It's always going to happen. A law cannot be broken. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and whoso rolleth the stone shall roll back on him. Proverbs 26 and 27. That is universal law. It's always going to happen. So if you want to dig a pit for me because of what I'm on here spitting, be prepared to fall in it. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, and I speak on the authority of the Most High God. Yeah, I said it. Tired of y'all, man. Tired of some of y'all out here. Tired of some of y'all. Okay? So, getting back to my point. The same thing that Daniel is praised for, others are demonized for. Why? Why? Unless you're trying to fashion these ancient writings into the doctrine of control. Is not a thing a thing? What is the intent? That is the question. If you are seeking information on someone that you do not know from the higher realms to use to your advantage, to try to manipulate a person, to try to harm a person, then you are acting in error. If you are using information from the higher realms to try and help someone, then you are acting in the opposite of error. And I know some of y'all gonna go in there and say, well, the Bible said that, we're supposed to leave these things alone. Who translated it? The same things uttered in Hebrew and translated to another tongue have not the same strength in them. How many times can you copy an original print on a copy machine before it is too light to read and understand? The truth ain't always nice, but it's necessary. Moses. Oh, we love Moses. Moses is one of the most storied prophets in history. Moses' name is known throughout many of the world religions. Islam, Judaism, Christianity, even some others, they knew who Moses was. Even some of the Eastern religions, they know who Moses was. Moses, when he went into the temple of the Pharaoh, and Pharaoh had his magicians there, and Moses threw down his staff, a wooden staff, and it turned into a serpent, and they threw theirs down, and y'all know how the story went. If somebody today threw a staff down and it turned into a serpent, you would call him a wizard. You know you would. You know you would. If somebody today popped up out of the blue and took some water and turned it into wine, you call them a sorcerer. You know you would. You know you would. Y'all stop demonizing stuff that you don't understand. Stop demonizing things that you don't understand. Now, you might say, Matt crazy, man. He said, send him there. Man, I ain't going to hell for nobody. Some of y'all are too snowed to even see the real story behind why I said what I said in that dream. You can't even see the love in it. You cannot even see the love in it. Who among you? See, but y'all, I'm gonna tell you why. Y'all, let me ask the question: who among you would even open up your mouth and would even open up your mind and fashion to think that, hey, if my friend is being sent to hell for helping someone, then I'm gonna go there with her to keep her company? Who among y'all would do that? You know why you wouldn't? Because you ain't got love in your heart. When the test comes, a whole lot of y'all fail. A whole lot of y'all fail. And why? It's because you lack understanding. What does Proverbs 4 and I believe it's 4 and 7? What does Proverbs 4 and 7 say? Wisdom, Proverbs 4 and 7. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. A lot of y'all don't even understand. A lot of y'all don't even understand what you are looking at half the time. You're going off the indoctrination of someone who pushed a religion, and if you look like me, someone who pushed a religion on your ancestors that was not theirs. Oh, the truth ain't always nice, but it's necessary. Y'all do your homework on Christianity. Y'all do your homework on the Christianity. Who did it? Who created modern Christianity the way we know it today, the way we practice it today? It was the Romans, right? It was a product of the Roman Empire. Y'all know the Roman Empire was one of the most bloodthirsty, bloodlusting, all kind of things they were doing. Yeah, I said that. Things that they were doing throughout that empire. Things they were doing to children. Things they were doing to the Roman Empire. Oh, but you throw the word holy in front of it, and now all of a sudden it's changed to something different. You go from the Roman Empire to the Holy Roman Empire, and all of a sudden it's a different group of people. It's the same souls. It's the same energy. It's the same energy. If you had understanding, and you look like me, you would know that the Romans were the enemies of your ancestors. That the Romans fought against your ancestors and drove them out of their homeland. That the Holy Roman Empire sanctioned slavery. That the Holy Roman Empire pushed Christianity on a group of individuals that history called the Moors, on a group of people that history called the Moors, which was a collection of Ishmaelites and Israelites that had skin like this and hair like this. Y'all do the history. Y'all do the history. It was pushed on them, but you embrace it. They were converted. They were forced into conversion at sword point, arrow point, knife point, spear point, torture point, forced into Christianity. And y'all embrace it. It's time for y'all to know the truth. The truth ain't always nice, but it's necessary. Why did Christopher Columbus have a brother on his maiden voyage who spoke Hebrew to serve as translator? Why do you need a brother who speaks Hebrew to serve as translator if you're looking for a seaward route to India to get spices? But some of y'all still believe that BS story. They knew who was going to be. They already knew who was over here. They were continuing the work of the Holy Roman Empire. The Holy Roman Empire drove these brown-skinned individuals off the Iberian Peninsula. They drove them from Spain to Portugal and from Portugal to West Africa. Okay? But a larger collection of their brothers and sisters were already over here in the Americas. The truth ain't always nice, but it's necessary. But y'all hold on to that Christianity. And anybody who ain't practicing it, they the devil, right? Or they're heathen. They need to be proselytized. They need to be saved. I did a whole series on salvation and illustrating to you that salvation has always been a physical act. A physical act. They took that and turned it into something else. Christianity, and yet the principles that the Messiah taught are missed, either by accident or on purpose. Y'all got to stop, man. The truth ain't always nice, but it's necessary. Stop judging things that you do not understand. I'm going to give you one more example. And I'm going to wrap this up. You got a brother out here who has he's got a YouTube channel, large following, almost 400,000 subscribers. I won't name him because I'm not here for that. But I'm looking through my YouTube app on my Apple TV, scrolling through, looking at recommended videos, whatever. And I see a thumbnail that says, something about Kirk Franklin. And I'm like, oh, okay, let me watch this. This looks interesting. And his brother comes out of his mouth and begins to judge Kirk Franklin and his wife for hosting a new reality show on TV One called The One. It's a single show. He's like, Kirk and his wife are hosting a show for singles. It ain't a singles ministry. It's a singles show. What is ministry? Isn't ministry? Doesn't the word ministry mean service? Isn't a minister one who serves? If ministry means service, and in the previews, Kirk and his wife say that they're excellent at matchmaking. He's ministering. He's in a singles ministry. What is your problem? Oh, it's not attached to the church. Oh, they're doing all kinds of wild things on camera. It's a show. It's a show. I'm not saying it's right. Whatever. That's for the individual to decide. But I ain't got a problem with Kirk and his wife hosting that show. I don't have a problem with it. Oh, but because it's not a singles ministry. You know how many people get marriage counseling at church and still end up divorced? You know how many people are members of singles ministries at church and do the same things these people do on these shows behind closed doors? You judging Kirk for hosting the show. How many people in the congregation of these various different churches watch these same shows? Oh, but it's wrong because Kirk is on there. Why you damning how another man get his money if he ain't hurting nobody? If you don't like it, don't watch it. How about get the mote out of your own eye? This brother proceeds to judge Kirk because he mentions in his little video that Kirk admitted that he had a porn addiction and that it affected his marriage. How many people got porn addictions that don't admit them? Okay? How about by Kirk admitting what he was addicted to, that perhaps his testimony helped somebody else who had the same addiction? It's a whole lot of, look, y'all don't get me started. Don't get me started on how corrupt the church establishment. I ain't talking about everybody in the church. A lot of people go to church for the right reasons. But I did a video some months ago. In fact, it was last year. I did a video asking a question. Is it time for organized religion to end? My answer to that was yes. But I said, preserve the word, preserve the song. The rest of that organization stuff got to go. What? Somebody don't come to a building and now they're a heathen all of a sudden? Didn't the Most High God say in the book of Isaiah that his hands built this entire earth? And what house are we going to build for him? How are you going to build a house for somebody who built the entire planet? He's saying that. Isn't it written that the Spirit of the Most High doesn't dwell in temples made by man's hands or something to that effect? Y'all got to stop with this judging, y'all. Y'all got to stop with this all this being judgmental. I see it in my comments every now and then. I get the churchianity crowd that want to come and save me from destruction because I study astrology. Because I study astrology, a science. Because I study the planetary energies and know what they mean. Forget the fact that I have helped more people, people who have gone to church their entire lives, struggling, same struggles. I was there. Listen, I averaged 12 hours a week in church from as early as I can remember till about age 15, 16. 12 hours a week. I've seen it. People coming in, the same people, year in, year out. Y'all pray for me. Y'all pray this. Y'all pray my strength in the Lord. Y'all pray this. I'm going through this. Y'all pray that I get this new job. Y'all pray this. Y'all pray this. If you understood yourself, you would know how to properly direct your own prayers and manifestation. I did a video talking about 4 reasons why a lot of prayers go unanswered and how to fix that. I'll put links to these videos in the description box. What y'all need to understand as I get ready to wrap this video up, what y'all need to understand is that there's a reason why the Messiah said, "Thou hypocrite, first remove the beam, a big old 2x4 that is in your own eye, to clearly see the speck of dust that's in your brother's." Y'all know he was speaking figuratively, because he was speaking to the religious folks who stand in judgment of everybody, but they got more broken in their own lives than a little bit. Got whole problems, but because they're in church and they got positions of authority, positions of status, they're okay. That establishment, y'all don't know, man. Y'all don't know. Y'all really don't know what the Messiah came here to destroy. I'm here to tell y'all, the church establishment as we know it. What church did Isaiah go to? What church did Jeremiah go to? What church did Moses go to? What church did Noah go to? Noah wasn't even an Israelite. Abraham wasn't even an Israelite. Isaac wasn't even an Israelite. Jacob wasn't even an Israelite. He fathered the Israelites. ITE, lineage of. His sons, grandsons, great-grandsons, and so on and so forth were the lineage of him. So I just named these great patriarchs, these great forebearers who weren't even, quote-unquote, Israelites. And they weren't Christians either. Did God not favor them? Did God not favor them? Y'all stop it, man. God gives spiritual gifts. Y'all stop judging how and where these gifts are used and start looking at how they're being used. If somebody's using it for good, where's the sin, which means error? Where's the error in it? The truth ain't always nice, but it's necessary. Tell you what, man, some of y'all gonna be wearing goat jackets, and it ain't gonna stand for greatest of all time either. And yes, I'm referring to the passage of scripture where he said he gonna separate the sheep from the goats. To the goats, he's gonna tell them, "Depart from me, you workers of iniquity." And they're gonna be like, Didn't we do this in your name and do this in your name and do this in your name? He said, you know what? You didn't do it to the least of them. Because you didn't do it to them, you basically, because you ignored them, you ignored me. I'll put the scripture in the description box. Y'all can look it up for yourself. And to the other ones, they were like, well, you know, we weren't doing nothing special. We were just trying to help people. Enter into the glory of your Lord. Y'all got, let me read this passage of scripture from the book of Isaiah. Y'all got this, y'all doing too much fear mongering, man, with this whole hell thing, man. Y'all doing a little bit too much fear mongering, and you don't necessarily understand. Y'all don't even understand why I said, if she got to go to hell, send me there with her. I understand what hell is. Hell right now is planet Earth. Unless you living high off the hog, hell is planet Earth. Hell is feeling like if you don't feel like going to work, you got to go to work anyway because you don't want to lose your job. Because if you lose your job, you can't pay your bills and you might lose your house or you might not be able to feed your children. That's hell. That's hell. You're already in it. You just can't even see it. Hell is somebody making you afraid of something that you have no business fearing. Fear is a low vibration. I did a video talking about, did the devil make you do it or was it you? Did the devil make you do it or was it you? A lot of y'all don't even understand that that devil that you're afraid of is you. That's your lower nature. That is your lower nature. Y'all don't understand how these things work spiritually. And you know why? It's because the church want to keep you dumb on it. The church wants to keep you dumb. So if you want to stay in darkness, stay in darkness. But don't mess with somebody who's trying to come into the light. Stay in darkness if that's what you want to do. All right? Isaiah 66:24. And they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of men that have transgressed against me. For their worm shall not die, neither shall their fire be quenched. And they shall be an abhorring unto all flesh. Now we see that same theme in the words of the Messiah in the New Testament, where he talks about hell, being cast into hell, where the worm dies not and the fire is not quenched. I broke this down in a number of other videos. I'm going to break it down one more time for y'all. Worms are physical. If you die and your energy leaves your body, then you have no body to experience worms. Okay? If you die and your energy leaves your body, you have no body to experience flames. Being burned is a sensation of that matches the body. Now, torment, that's something else that can match an energy. Your energy is tormented, not your physical body. Your physical body can be in pain, which causes emotional torment, which is your emotions are energy. But this whole flame, I'm telling you, you're going to go to hell and burn forever and worms going to eat you up. You need a body for that. So there are people that are experiencing hell right here on earth because worms are eating them up. But this right here is specific to slaughter. And they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses. Carcasses is a body. A carcass is a body. And they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of the men that have transgressed against me. For their worms shall not die, neither shall their fire be quenched. And they shall be an abhorring to all flesh. They're going to look bad and stink bad. Going to look upon the bodies of the men that have transgressed against me. They're gone. But it's there for an example. They keep you in a low vibrational state. Low vibrational. High vibrational here. Angelic realms. Angelic frequencies. High vibrational. God. Low vibrational. Fear. Apathy. Shame. Guilt. Is that God or is that hell? Polar opposites. One is heaven. Joy. Peace. Love. Enlightenment. That's heaven. Hell is the opposite end of the spectrum. Fear. Grief. Shame, apathy. To that brother that is trying to throw Kirk Franklin into hell when he ain't got no hell to throw nobody into. When hell is a condition. This brother that is speaking down on Kirk Franklin because him and his wife are hosting a show that he don't even know if people in his house watching when he gone. Y'all don't know how that works. My parents, when I was a kid, they were like, y'all don't be listening to no blues music, R&B, soul, whatever. Man, as soon as my parents left the driveway, we turned the radio on and was in there jamming. Michael Jackson, LL Cool J, Prince. As soon as they left the house. So sweep around your own front door, bruh. Why you on Kirk Franklin? Anybody? Okay, so it's bad for Kirk Franklin to do it, but somebody who ain't in the church can do it. Y'all see the hypocrisy in that? Do y'all see the hypocrisy in that? Do you see the hypocrisy in the pastor from the dream telling this sister that she was going to go to hell because she was reading tarot and helping people change their lives? When you got people sit up in your congregation that's praying for the same things decade in, decade out, but keep coming and keep putting that money in the pan. How about the people who have damned me to hell for reading a birth chart and explaining to somebody why they behave a certain way in certain situations, or why they get along with this person and may not necessarily get along with that person, and how they can bridge that gap simply by looking at their birth chart and the birth chart of the other person. Telling somebody that, I've said this before, I'll say it again, and I'll wrap this up, y'all. They should teach astrology in high school. It should be a prerequisite for graduating. Why? Because natal astrology gives you an understanding of who you are. It helps you to know thyself. Why do y'all treat God like he wants you to be dumb and stupid? He wants you to run around and not know who you are and pray for the answer on who you are when he gave you the ability to know it. Man, I wish I would. If man, that's like somebody. Let me ask y'all this: if the universe were a restaurant, okay, would God be more likely to be walking around with a pad taking orders, or would it be more likely that He creates a 5-star prime buffet where you can get whatever you want, but all you got to do is get your butt up out of your chair and go get a plate and put whatever you want on it and go back and sit down and eat it? Which one would be more likely? I want y'all to put that in the comments. Would God be more likely to be taking orders on a pad and running them back to the kitchen, or would it be more likely that he establishes a restaurant, prime buffet? I'm talking 5-star. Whatever you want is there. All you got to do is get up and go get it. I'm going to tell you, I think it would be B. Answer B, the buffet. But a lot of y'all think God worked for y'all. And that's why a lot of people are angry and upset. Yeah, there's a whole campaign right now. I'm going to say this and wrap this up. Y'all know I said I was going to get ready to wrap this up. There's a whole campaign by some of the big mega churches in the country right now that have these new ministries that they created to try and stem the tide of people leaving the church. And I hear people saying, oh, this is the great falling away that was spoken of. Trying to stem the tide of people leaving the church. Oh, people are leaving the church and turning to witchcraft, tarot, and astrology. You know why people are leaving? Because you got people standing up in the front of that church, putting themselves in the position of a high priest of some sort, collecting tithes money, which in modern Christian terms is a hijack of an ancient system that was practiced by the Israelites for a completely different purpose. When you know, the whole tithes money process, and it wasn't just money, okay? The whole tithing process was a mandate in ancient Israel so that the Levites and the spiritual heads of the nation did not have to work because their job was the spiritual health of the nation. Their job was the spiritual health. Now, we don't even know what all of their practices were as a part of that spiritual. We do know that they did sacrifices and things of that nature, but we don't know what all of their practices were. We don't know what they were. Where are they? Show me. What were all of their practices? We don't know. But y'all are demonizing things. Y'all sit here and a bunch of y'all demonizing weed, man. There's people smoking weed, the devil, whatever. A lot of those prophets, and if you read the book of Esdras, that prophet was directed by an angel to go into a field and eat a certain herb to put himself in a trance state so that he could get messages from the higher realms. Why didn't he just tell him to sit there and just pray until the answer came? This was an angel of the Lord, an angel of God, that directed this prophet and told him what herb to eat so that he could go into a state of trance to get these messages and to see the future, to be able to foretell the future. Foretell the future. But somebody foretells the future today and they ain't in church. They the devil. But they doing the same thing, accessing the same data library that has always been accessed. There's only one data library. There's only one. All of the information's in the same place in the ether. Everybody goes there to get it. But what is your intent? Your intent dictates whether or not you can get that information. But y'all don't know that because they ain't teaching it to you in church. They're teaching you how to be a good subject. And you're going right along with the program. Not even knowing half of y'all, quote unquote, African Americans, quote unquote, black folk, don't even know that you the people in that book that you're reading out of. Don't even know that those were your ancestors. Don't even know that some of y'all are the same souls that probably wrote some of those scriptures. Because energy doesn't die. Energy does not die. The body is time bombed. Yeah, the body is. But your energy is not. You come here, you incarnate for a purpose to do a work. You come here to do something. Sometimes you come here just to be rewarded because you've done so many things through so many lifetimes. Sometimes you just incarnate just to eat the fat of the land and have the best life as a reward. And sometimes you incarnate to suffer because of some ish you did in another lifetime. And you got some paying back to do. Y'all don't understand how these things work because they don't teach them to you in the church establishment. They want you to remain dumbfounded and going to a man. Didn't God say in the word that no more will a man have to tell his brother to know the Lord, because he said he's going to write his law or his instruction in their hearts? Let me read that passage of scripture, y'all. I'm sorry. I know I need to get out of here. Let me read that passage of scripture. Man, y'all be getting me hyped up, man. Y'all be getting me hyped up. I've been on 10 all day here. But I'm going to get this out so I can go back down to 2, all right? So I can go from 10 to 2. Isaiah 31 and 33. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people. Verse 34, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith the Lord. For I will forgive their iniquity and will remember their sin or error no more. Where's the usefulness of the pastor unless he's teaching you how to be your best you and not trying to officiate or govern you? Some of these pastors take their responsibility. They take their position way too serious. And instead of just teaching you, they're trying to govern over you. Look, you put the information out. If people take it, they don't, they don't. So a lot of y'all doing it. I see some of the brothers on the corners with the bullhorns trying to govern people. You weren't put here to be anybody's governor. We're all equal. What did the Messiah say? He said, let the greatest in the kingdom of heaven be the least among you, or something to that effect. I'll put the scripture verse on the screen. Some of y'all big up in yourself when you need to be humbling yourself, saying, how can I help? How can I serve? The ones that's out there serving are the ones that are called the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. But y'all damning them to hell. Check yourselves. That's all I got, family. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like this type of content, and I'm not always on 10. I'm usually smiling and, doing something to help. Today's help too. But today was just straight truth. And the truth ain't always nice, but it's necessary. So if you like truth, you want to hear more content like this, y'all browse through my channel, check out my playlist, check out some of my other content. You're going to learn something. You're going to be entertained as well. Hit that subscribe button for me. Hit that subscribe button. All right. And tell your friends, because it's time for this truth to come out. And last thing I'm going to say, I hate to break it to y'all, but the church establishment is a part of the matrix. And this matrix, this system is coming down. So y'all better get your minds right. Better get your minds and hearts right. I could go on and on speaking on the error of a lot of these pastors, from the mega churches down to the small churches. But I ain't here for that. I just came here today to let you know that the truth is not always nice, but it's necessary. All right? Y'all be blessed. Oh, lest I forget, tell somebody you love them and mean it. And I tell you guys that all the time. You guys know I love you, how much I love you. I love you guys so much. This is why I do what I do. Now, I want you to tell somebody you love them and mean it when you say it. How do you mean it? You have to show it. Love is a verb. It is a noun as well. But when we focus on the verb, the noun always takes care of itself. Peace, man.